Okay, I promised I would do this, so I guess I gotta do it. I'm gonna show you how to set up your No.1 D5 watch from scratch as if you just took it out of the box. I've been messing with this thing for a while now, a little over a week, I guess, and it is just chock full of goodies. But I'm going to wipe the whole thing out so that you can see how you go about setting it up properly from the very get-go. But before I do that, and before I go there, I want to show you what you may want to do when you're at this stage of life and have a whole bunch of things you've installed on your watch and you don't want to lose them. You definitely want to, and we will be doing it in the videos as we get into the critical apps. You want to install the app Backup and Restore. What this lets you do is take all of the different apps that you have installed on your watch and literally back up what's called the APKs, which are the files basically that make the apps run. It shows you a listing of all of your installed apps that you have on the device, and you have little check marks on the side that you can select which ones you want to actually back up. All right? Now, because you have such limited space on this watch, what I've found is I'll load up a bunch of them, like I played with a bunch of music apps and radio apps and stuff. And then I back them all up, and then I delete them off, and I put in a whole other genre of apps, calculators and things. Back those puppies up. You don't have to have all of them active on the watch to back them up, but you do have to have them installed at least once and then use this process to back them up. So when you select a particular app from the list and back it up, it goes into a special folder that's on the flip-flop side of the memory. You have two memory parts, the one that you install apps to run, and that's really small, and the bigger memory that you can back up these APKs to, and they just kind of sit there. And then later, if you want to reinstall them back, you can by going over here to the archived section. These are the apps that I have backed up on this watch that I've used and tested that work for me. And if I want to put one of them back into active memory, let's say, so that it shows up in your app list, I can put a check mark by it, like the game 2048, and say restore. It gives me all of the stuff that normally you'd go through in installing an app and hit install, and it'll install that app back into the primary working memory. And then it's going to be available to me. So if you're going to go out and you're going to need Google Keep or Google Maps or something like that, and you don't have enough room, you can delete some of your games and know that you can always get them back. Clean Master, which I have installed, wants to delete the APK. I'm going to cancel that because if I deleted that, I wouldn't be able to go back and forth and do this reinstallation. Besides, it's on the partition of memory that doesn't matter. Cancel out of all of that kind of stuff. And if I say open, then lo and behold, I gain access to the game 2048. Tells you how to play it, and so forth. Okay? So, back again. Where are we? We are in the backup and restore. So I want to say a couple of more things about that. Oh, did you see this yet? This is so cool. I got a clinometer in here. Yeah, we'll have to play with this later, but you got the bubble thing going, and if you get it vertical, it switches to, a bubble level. All on your arm. Yeah, I know. We're getting ready to wipe all that out, folks. Oh, I don't want to do this. It takes so long to set everything up. But if you've done it right, it will be much quicker the second time through. So, hello. We're going to go back in here and cancel so that I get back to my listing. So, these are all of the apps that are in the partition of memory, and they will be wiped out when I reset this watch. So before I do that, I've connected this to my computer. You can use the cable from your charger and connect it in and make it look like a USB drive. Or you can use the app MobiZen to connect through Wi-Fi. Either way, you're looking for the folder called App Backup and Restore. There's actually a folder created with all the APKs in it. copy all that stuff over. Take the whole folder, put it on your computer. And then later, after the watch is restored and you've installed the app backup and restore and you've run it, it creates that folder, then go and do the connection and drop back into that folder all of the APKs that you had backed up into the backup folder on your watch, and you'll be back in business for installing them much, much faster than going one by one to the Google Play Store and grabbing them all over again. Just wanted to share that with you now because we're at the important point where it would make sense. It won't make sense if we install it later, which we will in another video, and I have nothing to put in there to show you, is already backed up. All right. That's where we are with this whole thing, and we're about ready to wipe it out. So let's take one last look through here, because I've put in a bunch of new things that you haven't seen yet, encouraging you to subscribe so you can watch later as I review these, like the JBA K2 keyboard. Oh, we're going to do a whole thing on keyboards soon. We did App Cache Cleaner, I think, already. Visualizers, Nova Key, really interesting keyboard. We'll talk about that. Quick Keyboard lets you switch between these keyboards really quickly without having to go into settings. I'm not going to talk about all these. There's a good calculator, Tumblr access, Apis browser, a nice tip chart or tip calculator thing, and on and on and on. Message Ease keyboard. We'll talk about that. Oh, okay, I just got to show you this one. No. We'll come back. We'll come back for all of this. I'm sorry. We've got to move on. I know there's a lot to watch. You guys watching the reboot of Mulder and Scully in the X-Files? Wait till we talk about these. Anyway, all right. Let's go back to settings. Settings. Let's go through settings to... where is it? It's probably down at the very bottom. After uninstall applications, this lists all of the apps in here so you can individually uninstall them. What we're going to do is wipe them all out at once with this massive reset thing under. There it is, reset equipment. It says you're currently signed in, and it shows you your ID, and if you scroll that down, you could just clear out your music and data, that kind of stuff. But we're going to go beyond that and actually reset the equipment. All right. Haven't done this before. We're flying blind. Make sure that at least 30% of electricity or power before proceeding. I got a good charge on it. Okay. Erase all your personal information and downloaded apps. You cannot reverse this. Erase everything. Oh, I don't want to do this. But you know what? It's going to be a really nice, clean install because we're going to follow a process that works. Here we go. I'll see you on the flip side. We're going to have fun.